Ronaldinho. You'd think one of the most gifted players of all time would never see the inside of a prison cell. But in March of 2020, Ronaldinho and his brother were arrested in Paraguay for using fake passports to enter the country. The irony, Brazilians don't even need a visa to enter Paraguay. Authorities found the forged documents in their hotel, and within days, the legend was behind bars. The football world was stunned. For 32 days, Ronaldinho sat in a Paraguayan prison, reportedly playing football with inmates. After paying $1.6 million in bail, he was placed under house arrest for 5 more months. The court eventually let him off with a fine, but the damage was done. This wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a surreal twist in the story of a man once seen as the face of football's joy. Dani Alves, from Barcelona legend to a convicted criminal. In early 2023, Dani Alves was arrested in Spain over allegations involving inappropriate behavior toward a woman at a Barcelona nightclub. He denied any wrongdoing, but as evidence mounted, including security footage, his story changed. Eventually, the case went to trial. In 2024, Alves was found guilty of a serious incident involving a female complainant and sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. He was also ordered to pay compensation and banned from contacting the victim for nearly a decade. One of the most decorated players in football history, Alves' legacy took a permanent hit. Benjamin Mendy. This case rocked football. In August 2021, Benjamin Mendy was arrested in England over multiple serious allegations involving women. He was suspended by Manchester City immediately. The case involved months of headlines, court dates, and strict bail conditions. In early 2023, a jury cleared him of most of the charges, but a retrial was ordered for the remaining accusations. By mid-2023, Mendy was fully acquitted. He broke down in court, but while he was legally cleared, his football career had already suffered irreversible damage. His City contract expired, and while he signed with a new club in France, the stain on his reputation lingered. Eric Cantona. January 25, 1995. Manchester United vs Crystal Palace. What happened that night became one of the most unforgettable moments in Premier League history. After being sent off, Cantona walked toward the tunnel, but then launched himself with a kung fu kick at a fan in the stands who had been shouting abuse. It wasn't just a red card, it was assault. Cantona was convicted and sentenced to 2 weeks in prison, later reduced to 120 hours of community service. The FA also banned him for 9 months. He gave a single cryptic line at a press conference. When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Then he walked off. Cantona eventually returned to football and helped United win more trophies. But that kick became a symbol of rebellion and rage. Quincy Promes. Once seen as the future of Dutch football, Quincy Promes has become one of the most controversial names. In 2020, he was charged in the Netherlands for stabbing his cousin at a family party. He denied it, but prosecutors claimed he acted initially during an argument. In June of 2023, Promes was found guilty and sentenced to 18 months in prison, but he never showed up, having already moved to Russia to play for Spartak Moscow. A year later, in February of 2024, Dutch authorities hit him again, this time with a conviction for drug trafficking. The court said he helped smuggle over 1.3 tons of drugs through Belgian ports. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but Russia has no extradition treaty with the Netherlands. So Promes remains fugitive in cleats, still playing, still scoring, and still wanted back home. Mason Greenwood. In early 2022, Mason Greenwood's career came to a complete stop when social media posts surfaced showing disturbing images and audio involving his then girlfriend. Police launched an immediate investigation. Greenwood was arrested on suspicion of intimate partner violence and later released on bail. Manchester United suspended him indefinitely. For over a year, legal proceedings continued, but in February of 2023, the Crown Prosecution Service dropped all charges after witnesses withdrew and new evidence came to light. Greenwood maintained his innocence throughout. Still, public opinion was deeply split. United ultimately chose not to reintegrate him, and he was loaned to Getafe in Spain. What was once a story of a rising talent turned into a cautionary tale about how quickly fame can turn. Diego Maradona, the genius on the pitch. In 1991, Maradona was banned from football for 15 months after testing positive for drugs. Later that same year, he was arrested in Argentina for drug possession. Came the 1994 World Cup. Maradona scored a brilliant goal and ran to the cameras with a wild eyes. Days later, he tested positive again. His demons didn't stop with drugs. In 1998, he received a suspended sentence for shooting an air rifle at journalists. And in 2009, he owed millions in unpaid taxes to the Italian government. Maradona stayed in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, and while his talent remains immortal, his legacy is complicated, equal parts magic and mayhem. Tony Adams. In May of 1990, Arsenal captain Tony Adams crashed his car while driving 4 times over the legal alcohol limit. He was sentenced to 4 months in prison for drunk driving, spending 8 weeks behind bars. But Adams used it as a turning point. He got sober, returned to football, and even founded a rehab center called the Sporting Chance Clinic to help other athletes struggling with addiction. One of the few players who turned prison time into redemption and lived to tell the story with dignity.